The Dragon of Mars, the Omnissiah, Magladroth, the Void Dragon. This ancient star god has been called many names, and since its inception, it's been shrouded in mystery. Some theories state that this Catan is fully whole, and kept under the red sands of Mars, empowering all technology through the use of the machine spirit. Others say that it was a bargaining chip used by the Emperor of Mankind to ally humanity with the Adeptus Mechanicus so long ago, while other theories have it that only a few shards remain from this Void Dragon after its battle against the Eldari gods. Ultimately, we will discover the truths very soon, for the 9th edition Necron Codex will be here in just a few short weeks. What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and I'm here once again to talk to you guys about Warhammer 40K, more specifically, the arrival of the ancient Catan, the Void Dragon. So the Void Dragon is very, very important when it comes to the lore of the Necrons, obviously, but as you've heard, he also has a lot to do with humanity, the Emperor, Mars, maybe he's the Omnissiah, the machine god. He also have ties with the Eldari. There is a lot that has to do with the Void Dragon, and I can't wait until the freaking Necron Codex drops so we can get all that juicy lore and hopefully uncover a few more secrets about the background, the history of Warhammer 40K. Now, of course, he can always just give us some plain background or just keep his origins a mystery and just say, well, you know, here's like a short paragraph on who the Void Dragon is. Have fun. Hopefully not, but I'm really hoping. Because when it comes to the Necrons, I love the Catan. The Nightbringer, the Deceiver, the Burning One, the Outsider, and there's so many more. I'm really excited because we get to actually see his stats today. So a few days ago, they gave us, the Warhammer community folks gave us some really awesome Necron juiciness to come from the Codex, and I was surprised that they actually showed us a lot for the Void Dragon. So let's go over his stats, his abilities, and we get to see exactly how powerful a god is. Again, if you guys want to see this for your own self, I do have the link to the article posted down below so you guys can check it out. But without further ado, let's dive into the Void Dragon. So looking at the base stats, it's not bracketed, which I love. It's got a movement of 8, which is pretty good. I mean, it's got wings and whatnot. It needs to be pretty quick. Weapon skill and ballistic skill is a 2-up, which is great because he's going to be hitting things regardless of where they're at. Strength is 6, toughness is 7, pretty formidable. Wounds, this is what I love. It's got 9 wounds, meaning it can't be targeted. It's not like a character with 10 wounds or more where they can just target it. Not for this bad boy. I love it. You can hide them behind screens, and it's great. It's great. 5 attacks, which is really great. Leadership 10 with a 3-up save. So it's a pretty formidable stat block here. Like I said, I really love that it has 9 wounds. Obviously, I would have liked it to have more, but it's a bullet magnet. It's going to be like the centerpiece to an army. People's eyes are going to be drawn to it just because of how dynamic the model itself is. So you can expect it to get shot a lot and often. So having 9 wounds is good because that's as much as you can have without it being, targetable. So I like that. Ballistic skill and weapon skill 2-up. I love that as well. But now let's get to the juicy stuff, the spicy stuff, and that is its weapon. His weapon is known as the Spear of the Void Dragon. Nothing too crazy there, but still it's a weapon that can be used both in melee and as a shooting attack. So let's look at the melee stats first. Obviously for range and type it's melee. Strength is +3, which brings it to 9 strength with a -4 AP dealing 6 damage. So at 5 attacks you can potentially be doing 30 damage if you hit with everything and you wound with everything. So it's pretty devastating. Obviously, that's a really low chance of all that happening, but still, you can do a lot of damage with it, each attack doing d6. Now, the kicker to this is that each time an attack made with this weapon is allocated to a vehicle, it does d3 plus 3 damage. So that kind of, well, two things. Lore-wise, you get to start to see maybe this is something to do with like the machine god, the machine spirit, because why is it doing more damage to vehicles? You're already guaranteed 3 damage plus d3, so again, it might have to do with something with the machine spirit, or maybe it is the Omnissiah, and beliefs and the prayers are actually empowering it. So I'm excited for that. I really, really do enjoy that little tidbit. Now, the ranged variant of this weapon is a little bit interesting because it reads, each time an attack is made with this weapon, if a hit is scored, draw a straight line between the closest point of this model's base, or hull, and that of the closest model in the target unit. Make one wound roll against the target unit and each other unit that this line passes over. Each time an attack is made with this weapon that is allocated to a vehicle, that attack has a damage characteristic of d3 plus 3. So the bottom thing is the exact same thing as in the melee variant, dealing more damage to vehicles. However, it's interesting because it's got a range of 12, so essentially you can throw the spear 12 inches forward and hit anything from your base to where the intended attack is. It's only heavy 1, strength 9, AP minus 4, dealing d6 damage, but even though it's heavy 1, you could potentially hit multiple things. It's interesting, very different, I guess. Because I don't know, I thought 9th edition was gonna do away with like drawing lines through things and stuff like that. I know the Blood Angels, the Sanguine Lance, or whatever the lance is for the Blood Angel, Psychic Discipline has the same ability with like drawing a line and whatnot. So this is similar to that, but way stronger at strength 9, which is great. I love it. Again, it's a Void Dragon. I'm pretty much guaranteed to love everything about it. Moving on to the abilities, we'll start with the more lackluster one, but it's still pretty powerful, and that's its Necrodermis, aka its Sentient Skin. So it has a 4+ invuln save, and in addition, this model cannot lose more than 3 wounds in the same phase. Any wounds that would be lost after that point are not. That's pretty big. We're seeing this trend of like named characters or really important characters have a cap on how many wounds they can lose. I know Gaskull has this, but I think his is 4 or something like that. So that's big. That means he's going to be staying on the battlefield for a pretty long time, because again, per phase, so I mean technically it can die in one turn if it takes 3 wounds during the psychic phase, 3 wounds during the shooting phase, and 3 wounds in melee. That's 9 potential wounds, and that's all it has. So it can die in one phase if you're unlucky to be missing rolls and whatnot. But chances are it won't. It's probably going to last 3-4 turns depending. I'm excited. It's really good. I wish more things had this, but I think this is the direction we're going to see things move in 9th edition. I could see all the Primarchs get this, the Demon Primarchs, Abaddon, pretty much any important model will get this. So it's like, yeah, you're spending a crazy amount of money as well as points on playing this model. It sucks if it dies turn 1 before it can do anything, so having a cap on wounds lost is great in my book. Moving on, it's got matter absorption. Basically, it's devouring the very essence of all those vehicles it destroyed to keep itself powered up and keep the fight going. Again, he hates vehicles. I love it. And it's really good because obviously vehicles got a huge buff with 9th edition, being able to move and shoot in combat, so this is going to be the vehicle killer. But anyway, this ability is called Matter Absorption. At the end of each phase, you roll a d6 for each enemy vehicle model that was destroyed as a result of an attack made by this model or by a Catan power used by this model. And it reads, for each 2+, this model regains 1 lost wound to a maximum of 3 regained wounds per phase. That's incredible. Because again, it can lose up to 3 wounds per phase, and with matter absorption, it can absorb up to 3 wounds per phase. This guy can technically never lose a wound per phase. Like, if it loses it, it'll regain it, lose it, regain it, lose it, regain it. Like, what the heck? That's crazy. That is really crazy. And it doesn't say at the end of each of your phases. It says at the end of each phase. Really good. If you're playing against a vehicle-heavy list, run him the fuck up the board and get as close to as many vehicles as possible, and you're just gonna see explosion of vehicle after explosion of vehicle, and you're gonna be killing a bunch of stuff and regaining wounds, and it'll be glory. It'll be glorious. So yeah, very tough defensively, but also very powerful. And on top of that, let's not forget about Powers of the Catan, which I'm pretty sure it's going to have because they only showcased its weapon, the spear. But all Catan have access to Powers of the Catan, which we haven't seen what they can do in 9th edition, but based on 8th edition, they're pretty good. They're essentially psychic powers for your Catan. So that's something to also keep in mind. And with that being said, that is all we have for today. So again, guys, let me know your thoughts on the Void Dragon. Are you excited to be having probably the strongest Catan ever be playable on the battlefield? Because on top of that, you have the freaking Silent King returning. 2 huge characters for the entirety of the Necrons are playable now. And that's crazy to think about. Because if that's a thing now, I mean, who knows? Maybe the Emperor will be a playable character in the foreseeable future. Maybe it'll be playable in 50 years. But yeah, it's crazy to think about. The Void Dragon, the Silent King, they're here. That's big. But yeah, let me know your thoughts below. Do you think he's too strong? What do you think about only being able to lose 3 wounds and the whole being able to regenerate wounds? Again, will you be picking this up? Is this a must-have if you're a Necron player? Let me know. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. This has been the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.